Okay, here we go. The Pen and Maggie Show.
He's about to get crazy and wild. Stay for a while. Don't touch your radio dial.
Pen and Maggie Show.
Kicking it back, sports talk. Listen to that and stay tuned for some giggles and laughs. Go.
You know what, man? I got a parrot. The parrot talked, but it did not say I'm hungry, so it died.
Welcome to the Planet Mikey Show.
Wasn't that last week's intro?
That is last week's.
Well, let's just don't do the whole show we did last week. Fuck it.
Okay, do it again. Go ahead.
All right, ready? I heard when I walked in, you were recording an
I did
intro.
it. I don't know what happened.
That's that Dennis Farina thing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we can use it next week.
No, you broke it.
I broke everything. This is episode, we don't know, 250-something, but the most important thing is exactly 5 years to the day we had our very first podcast. 250-something podcasts ago, along with Bill Smith, Ben Kitchen, and our special guest tonight, a guy who's it's the first time we've had a 3-time Super Bowl champion in the friggin' studio.
It's true.
Matt Chatham is here. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Mikey.
How
Great
you
to be
doing?
here with you. I was doing excellent, man.
You look like you're in great shape for a 40-something-year-old.
That's why you wear baggy clothes.
That's not why I wear them. I shoplift a lot. Yeah, that's the reason I wear them. But how you been, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah,
life is taking a turn.
Staying healthy and keeping busy. This guy is so busy doing so many. He's like a Renaissance man. He has like 15 different interests, and he doesn't do anything half-assed at all. So we're going to get into that with Matt Chatham, former linebacker and special team. You were like a really important special teams player as well.
Yeah, you know what?
On the Pats, right?
And I love to talk special teams. I bore your fans, out of their chairs if we want to go teams all day. But that was my universe.
It's one of the 3 phases of the game. We've heard that from Belichick about a million times.
It is, and we don't broadcast it. I mean, obviously, long career in broadcasting, and I'm told not to talk about that part then.
Really?
So you just kind of, hey, this is when we go to commercial, or this is when we do graphics.
Right.
Don't talk about that
special
punt play.
teams is different from special needs.
Right.
I mean, the thing about special teams is that people don't realize it's so key to field position and time of possession and important stats like that. And God knows, even once in a while, something can bust loose on a special teams.
And by and large, who's behind most mics? It's quarterbacks, and they're what are they going to say? Hey, he kicked it again, and it went left, it went right, and somebody's running with it. The commentary is a little benign.
Well, speaking of kicking it a little bit left, the other last Patriots game ended in the absolutely the worst possible fashion. It was a 29-yard chip shot. But did you have any money on that, Ben?
No.
Oh my God! Because that's when you're
stupid enough at this
you
point.
take out
they're
a
a bad
plastic
bet right
kitchen, plastic picnic knife, and you cut your wrists slowly when that happens. 29-yarders, and and they've lost a lot of close games, the Patriots, this year. But just to boil it down to the nuts and bolts, what's the biggest problem? Is it the unknown? With Belichick and his future? Is it Mac Jones? I think it's Mac Jones.
So the way I would say it, Mikey, if I were still having to do sort of my Nesson world and do nightlies and come up with a cause and effect in night out, the world has moved more towards gambling now, and I kind of need to know the highline items if I'm going to know what the hell's going to happen. And if you could tell me in advance that you have absolute offensive line chaos, not that they do necessarily this month, but through most of the first maybe 2/3 of what we've seen so far, and they have a quarterback who doesn't look like an NFL starter, you're screwed. Like I literally don't need to know any other chapters in the book. Like that's what's happened.
And both those problems compound each other.
Yeah,
when you have a guy who's like a scared chicken.
They're
running
interrelated. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, now at this point, you're kind of just going to slog through what's left until those things are resolved, and they can't be in season. So it is what it is.
It's been sad to watch because everybody said, "Oh, well, he had a pretty good rookie year," and in the second year, we're going to give him a mulligan on year 2. But guess what? The things I've seen from him this year are. He's like, Bambi out on the ice with that bunny rabbit, Thumper. Bambi can't deal with anything. Can't stand up straight. Can't skate. Can't do shit. So, when I see Mac Jones, I almost feel sorry. Which zipper
that was the exact thing.
Why?
That was not. That was the upper zipper.
That zipper gets you in more trouble. But what the hell? It's like the guy's not qualified. And people say, "Well, guess who drafted him?" Well, Belichick. And I don't like when people get off on this whole Belichick thing and they say, well, yeah, see, he's toast. He can't do anything right. The guy's got 8 rings. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, he's a shitty coach or he should be gone. I'm going to give him due respect. But on the other hand, 2-11. What are they? 2-9.
2-9. Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, I think the way I would look at this, say if you were in management, I mean, that's kind of fans analyze stuff anyway, right? Like if I was in charge, I would fire this guy, that kind of thing. I would want to know if he did what he should have done with what he had. And in the year that he was shopping, and I think that's all that really matters, you know, they did the Tom Leafs thing. They get sort of the bridge guy in Cam. They realize that's not a long term. Now we have to make our decision now. I don't think anyone was against necessarily those stages.
Yeah.
But in the year he chose, Trevor Lawrence looks like, you know, he was going to be a generational guy. I don't think that's the case, but he does look like a solid NFL starter. You know, maybe he'll be a borderline Pro Bowl guy year in, year out. And the other 4 first-rounders, all 4 of those markets are looking for other guys, right? So it just happens to be in the year you were shopping, the groceries weren't very good.
No,
it's hard.
But on paper,
it's hard to blame that. Then I don't know.
You say, okay, well, Alabama, you know, okay. I mean, this guy's got at least the credentials of coming through the big program and being successful in it. But that doesn't necessarily translate, as we've seen over the years with Heisman Trophy winners, for example. Sometimes they just don't make it in the pros at the level they were in.
There's
college.
a long list of, you know, the old USC quarterback idea, the Alabama quarterbacks, and just because you went to the big school, even the Ohio State quarterbacks. I mean, Fields is one of the guys in this list of guys that I know a lot of Chicago fans back home are very happy there.
Right.
But what I would want to know if I was upset at the coach is say, what were the alternatives? What could you have done better? And I think the free agency year, if I remember back in that particular season, was Geno Smith was a free agent, but he was moving from backup at Seattle to stay in Seattle, basically. Ryan Fitzpatrick switched teams. What were the other alternatives? I mean, what would you have had Bill otherwise do? And if there's a really good answer, okay, then maybe you should be talking about the guys.
What do you think he wanted to do? Because I'm not overly convinced he necessarily wanted to take a quarterback in the first round.
I think it was a weird year in that you usually don't see the 5th clearly at 15. I mean, that's crazy high for 5 to go. Usually the 5th, and they actually have a history of taking that level guy. I believe Bailey Zappi's the 5th in his class, and I believe also, let's see, back to Brissett was a 5th, and Jimmy was also they kind of hit sort of. It's not necessarily that Jimmy was taken the 2nd round or that Mac was taken in the 1st or this guy was taken the 3rd or 4th. It's just in a given class, they're that deep into the talent pool where they think they have something to work with. I think they're now in the situation where you can't wait that long, right? And it doesn't matter if it's 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round. It's like in a given class, there's only generally 2, maybe like 3.
Yeah, unless the gemstone or like a Brady pops up and no one knew, no one expected.
Yeah, and you're not in a situation now where you can gamble that way, right? You're in a situation now where you got to go for surer things. But now we all know there could be a Mitch Trubisky in there. There could be a there could be a Trey Lance
of some sort.
So there's no guarantees. But I think they've lived in that world of being able to wait, and I don't think they're there anymore.
Well, the thing too about Belichick, when they give him shit, and they do, on the radio all the time now. They're saying, well, it's all they talk about now is Belichick.
Right.
I look at it this way. First of all, yes, he was the one that realized that Brady was something a little special, at least earlier than anybody else did. The other thing is, for 20 years, they had a strength of schedule issue because they were finishing at the top of the heap every single year. And they also had a draft positions problem where they were drafting at the very bottom because they were good every single year.
Sure.
So he did this all in the free agency era, this success, wild success, which, Matt, you were a part of, with all those things working against him. And I also watched him when he was coaching with the Giants, and, the defense he put up against the Bills, et cetera, in the Super Bowl. I mean, to crap on Belichick right now, I think is sacrilege.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, think of the other guys that are out there, like a Marv Levy. Like, think of the like really good, well-respected, around the league, kind of hit, sort of the 19th hole kind of situation. Like, what were they offering at that moment?
Yeah,
and
Shula too,
Yeah, Shula, exactly. Go down the line. I mean, there's that kind of guy has hit this stage before. But I think what's different with Bill, and I think what makes a guy, you need to look on, like if you were the general manager, the owner, or whatever, or fan base, is if he had the guy and he wasn't doing something with it, right? Like if you're sitting here with Justin Herbert and you're 2-9, okay, now the whole won so many Super Bowl things isn't the conversation, but he went with what I think was a consensus good pick at that time. I mean, who's out there was going, my God, don't get him. You should have gone up further and got Fields. Well, you would have failed there too, right? If you'd have been more aggressive and got Trey Lance, what would you be sitting with here as well? We'd be having probably the same conversation. Yeah. So I think they only the criticism has merit when there is an alternative. In this situation, I don't know what's the other idea.
You didn't make a wrong choice, But then again, there's also the Alabama quarterback's reputation. I mean, we see Joe Namath now; he's doing those commercials for your for your Medicare plan. Yeah. So he's doing great. and he doesn't even lean over drunk. And
I think you're getting push marketed, Mikey. Those don't come to me.
He doesn't lean
The
over in
algorithm loves
Susie
ya.
Colbert's face, and I want to kiss you. And she's like, well, okay, can we wait till the camera's off? In any event, Matt Chatham, who's done, I got a list of things he's done. But first, I have to mention the sponsors, right? Because we still have sponsors, very important.
We have great sponsors.
My Grand Marquis, I'm a huge collector of old vintage, piece of shit cars that the old ladies can't take their eyes off me in. But I'm hearing a noise underneath, in the tires. When it goes, then when I go faster,
You're hearing that now?
yeah. So I got to bring it over to my good pal Jason Russo down at Pro Automotive, which is located in Dudley and Webster. They have two in Webster and one in Dudley. ProAutomotiveMA.com, one of our fine sponsors, and they take care of all my issues with my 2008 Grand Marquis.
There wasn't that little cat from your house that you ran over. It stuck to your tire.
Oh no! Well, I got that out of there a while ago.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. Also brought to you by Giacomo's. By the way, we have gifts from Matt Chatham for making the drive in today. For Giacomo's in Melrose, Massachusetts, authentic Italian cuisine and as good as it gets. That's another one of our sponsors. And my grandma's coffee cake. Before you go, we have to pick out the flavor that you want us to ship to your house. Awesome. Compliments of the Planet Mikey podcast from my grandma and my grandma's coffee cake. Call 1-800-8-GRANDMA, especially if you're who are those people that eat their young? What do they call them?
Cannibals?
Democrats.
Oh.
No. If you
Eat their young.
if you eat your cannibals.
Oh,
He
cannibals.
said that.
Who said that?
Matt.
Matt
You said that?
Matt said cannibals, yeah.
Cannibal Lecter. Okay. Anyway, so that's some of our sponsors. And, of course, Vinny at Shawsheen Firearms and Gunsmithing. Now, you don't have a gun on you, do you?
Not today.
Because when Smurless was in here, he brought his gun, and we all left. We were all afraid.
Well, he just handed it to me, and it was like, by the way, it's loaded. I was
It's
like,
loaded.
yeah.
Yeah, here, can you hold this for me? Good old Freddie. Matt Chatham was number 58 for the New England Patriots, three-time Super Bowl champions. Was it 02, 03,
01, 03, 04.
There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
but hold on.
But all played in
Yeah.
2, 3, and 5, or whatever. 2, 4, 5.
2, 4,
whatever.
5.
Yeah, there's-
I read a short bio on Matt, and one of the sentences in there was that Roger Goodell owes you $34,000.
Fucking A right, he does.
What's that about?
What is that all about?
Yeah, if I collect it, can I get like 10%?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
What's up with that?
No, I mean it's a little hyperbole saying it that way, but so we all have, by the years that I had in, you get X, you get a certain amount of sort of a veteran benefit for second career stuff, or you can go back to school basically, right? So I was a pre-law guy when I left. My brother's in AUSA, Northern District of Iowa, so white collar crime now used to be meth cases forever and ever, but I was going to be an attorney myself. Had the NFL thing not happened, so I get out. Am I going to go to law school? I'm 32 years old or whatever by then. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to go to law school. But I wanted to start a new business. And, last thing you want to do is jump into business without a business background. So I went to Babson, right? So Babson's an extremely expensive school, which you may not be, surprised by.
Yeah.
And I wanted to use that veteran benefit. All right, right. I've got some paid tuition coming to me for the many years that I put in the NFL.
By league rules?
You accrue a certain amount. It's in an account, and the
Sure.
team you last left, for me, there was a few years with the Jets after the 6th year with New England. So it's that team that's your last team that pays the benefit, right? So this also happened to be the offseason where there was a lot of fights over the CBA. And there was sort of a delaying of the ratification and like just a big fight where they actually, I believe in that year, this would have been like the 09, I think, fall or I'm sorry, spring or whatever. But anyway, they're battling over this, right? So they decided we're going to suspend those veteran benefits. But Roger Goodell had jumped out in front of cameras. I'm in school, right? So I've already done like one semester paid for, and now I'm rolling into the next one, and I'm calling down to the offices in New York going, dude, what the hell? Like this
I need the cabbage that pays for this tuition.
the union's having this whole fight with the league, and Goodell does the public statement where he's like, no veteran benefits will be affected. This is a fight between the current players. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So they like go down, pay the next semester and go back to school. And I did, and I finished it out. And I didn't get any money.
You got nothing.
Well, I mean, I got one of 4 semesters that I was owed that I had accrued. So the 30-ish whatever number it was what I knew that I still had in remaining benefit. So I went to the whole arbitration thing, and
Sure.
I made an argument about it. And apparently there's some fine print down in there that in the event of decertification, those benefits go away. But he made the public statement, and the people at the office reference that public statement that no, you're good, go back to school.
He was wearing 2 hats and 2 faces at the same time.
So for someone like me, I don't need to go right now. If you're taking $35,000 from me, I'll wait a few months till you get the shit figured out, and then I'm going to go back. Yeah.
But
no, go right back, and then I end up eating the bill. So, God.
But you did start a business. You were successful. You got through Babson somehow, and you started a business that is very, very interesting to me. And let me see if I get this right. You've come up with some products, for lack of a better term, that you rub on your meat.
Exactly. So after a dozen years at Nesson and doing the media tour and doing all that stuff, Mikey, I kind of was at my wit's end, and I was ready for something else. And Babson, I had previously gone to school, is just loaded with food entrepreneurs, right? So I actually do have a little grab bag here with me. So
I want to see this stuff because my wife is a notorious meat rubber. No, did I say that?
Well, God bless.
Thank God she doesn't listen. She's very, very into this type of thing here, and this is basically stuff that you spice up your cuisine with.
Yeah. So basically, what I started was a fruit production company, and we're rubs, we're seasonings, right?
Yeah.
So our top 2 SKUs, and here I'll do the photo thing.
Hold on, there we go.
Hey now,
That says beef.
yeah.
The other one says
this is beefcake.
beefcake.
Beefcake. So yes. So basically, the shtick behind these are, I've been sort of grilling, smoking food for 25 years, whatever it is. Back to high school, my dad was actually a minister until I was in 4th grade. So I grew up going to the potlucks on Sunday and entertaining for 30 and 40 people, kind of thing. And beefcake was meant for me to be. It was actually originally a pastrami rub. So I would make a little homemade pastrami, but I wanted it to be, a little more versatile, be able to use it on more stuff. If you just sell pastrami rubs, how many millions of people hundreds of people in the country actually making their own pastrami, right? So we deconstructed a little bit. I took my home formula. I took a lot of salt out. That was really important to me because I wanted people to brine meat. So that's actually another product we have, which is this might be a reference that'll work with you. This is maybe a more your air.
Life of briny.
No, Life of Brian. So maybe a little. Does the reference ring a bell?
Yeah, Monty Python.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay,
Yes.
okay. There you go.
His
Not a
name
girl
would be
named Brian.
His name is Brian.
There you go.
Of course.
So-
Life of Brian. That's great.
And it's registered trademark here. So anyway, the idea though is that we want people to brine their meat, right? So I'm a cheap cuts guy. I love to go get a chuck steak. I love to go. You don't have to necessarily get the filet or the porter every time. You can
Make something special out of a cheap cut of meat.
That's
when
it.
you brine it,
using
it
this.
changes everything.
That's it. You dry brine. This is cherry wood smoked salt. It's a Himalayan pink salt that we smoke with cherry. And the idea is that you can just apply this before you head off to work, maybe the night before bed, and then when you come home the next day, the cheap cut is tender and it's all the flavors are locked in. And
Really?
It's a really, really simple trick to do. So, but in doing so, then your rubs can't be full salt because they would be oversalted, right? So you have to sort of remove some of the sodium and then just make crust. So this has coffee in it, fennel,
It's like a
tarragon,
science.
lots of crazy stuff.
You've
right?
really
So
kind of made this into a science.
got weird into it, yeah. So but my big idea was, so we have the beefcake and then we have something called Gold Bark. And a lot of people out there have really latched onto this thing. I think we were in about 150 retail stores right now.
Gold
online.
Bark.
Yeah, Gold Bark. So Gold Bark, I would say, the way we kind of pitch this is,
This is how the hand
there
models
you go.
will hold
Look
it
at
in.
that.
Look at
Like
that.
George's hands there. Yeah.
And never mind that. Look how good looking I am. All of
Costanza
a sudden.
hands. There you
Mikey
go.
has Acapulco Gold Bark.
That's right. So this will tenderize the meat like an overnight basis.
Yeah, you do it a day, you do it, half a day, do it in the morning before you
I
have
could
to
use
work.
some of this for my taint. I've been riding a lot of bicycles.
You mean your perineum?
Oh, perineum, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Life
But
of-
no, that's really a great idea, and you can do that. You don't have to just put it aside.
Yeah, just put it aside, put it in the fridge, come home later, then
at
add
these.
the rub, then you go. Yeah,
You're like a professional guy.
Yeah,
you
you
should
know.
go on the Home Shopping Network with this. Gold Bark Barbecue Rub.
yeah.
is one of them.
Yeah, and the Gold Bark is basically like a Carolina rub because there's a mustard back, but I love Asian barbecue. So the herb in here is actually basil, and then there's another something I don't mention, but it has sort of a fusion kind of thing to it. A little bit Carolina, a little bit Asian barbecue.
Wow.
So that's sort of
That's unbelievable.
that's
Now,
the
what's in the
stuff.
bags over here?
So the bags.
I love stuff like
We'll go
this.
here.
Honestly,
So this is the Gold Bark rub, but on an agave glazed pecan.
Ooh.
So we're gonna dive into these.
so you can
Everyone's gonna
rub
have
this
some
not.
of these.
You can not only rub this on your meat, but on your nuts.
Oh, exactly.
This
Love.
is great.
I think our slogan's "Love your nut snack."
Man.
That's perfect.
That's perfect.
Watch this. Oh my God. Hey, look. It looks like Randy Johnson's face. Oh my God. These are great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have some, guy.
Yeah, we'll hand these around.
Oh my God. Those are good.
So, and then the other one we have is the beefcake, and then we put the beefcake on a glazed pecan, or excuse me, on a glazed cashew. So,
Gesundheit.
yeah, so the whole idea, and we kind of, the company is sort of really behind this idea of rather than coming up with like 30 flavors of rubs, we nail a couple. And then we find new products and new ways to apply them, right? So we'll be doing something. I can say this here on the show. We'll pass these around to you guys.
You can say anything you want.
Yeah. So we're, sort of letting new things in the market sort of progressively. So this is what's out there now. The Life of Brian is actually just a brand new item that you can get online at rubsmokelove.com.
Wait a minute. Rubsmokelove.com.
Yeah,
That's
a
what I
little
was
bit.
going to ask
It
you
is.
next
It
because
is.
I'm in the market for this already. And these,
go.
how do they say it on TV? Makes a great Christmas gift.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
Awesome, man.
So yeah, this is life now. I schlep around 7 days a week to production facilities and
And
constant
because you're
shipping, all
on
the
the
stuff,
internet, you're national.
yeah, there you
And
go.
you
It's
should
on
be.
Amazon,
By the way,
on the website. Yeah.
These, did you try? Those nuts are awesome.
No kidding.
If I had 25 bags of those, I could gain 10 pounds in 4 days. That's
you
good
go.
stuff, man.
Appreciate you.
Unbelievable. Matt Chatham's here with us. I want to talk linebackers for a second.
All right.
And then, I'm going to tell you, my wife is going to go on, what is it, Rub,
Smoke, Love. So
Rub, Smoke, Love, my 3 favorite things.
it's a little eat, pray, love sort of thing. I don't know if your wife got into that thing. So
Except for the praying part.
they just eat and love.
Love to eat. She's my wife's a doll, and she probably does pray. She just doesn't tell me about it.
That's right.
There you go.
But no, that's a great. So that's the website that people want to go to check out not only what you have, but how to get it.
There you go.
It's called Rub. What is it? Rub.
Rub it, smoke it,
Smoke.
love.
Love.
There you go.
Rub, smoke, love.
Rubsmokelove.com.
.com.
Rub-a-dub-dub. The linebackers. That was your position. There was a guy named Jack Lambert who wore number 58.
Yeah.
And Sam Cunningham, God rest his soul,
Count Dracula and cleats.
was my first sports interview in 1977, which is the year you were born.
There it is. Newton, Iowa.
We had Sam Cunningham come up to Portland, Maine, and go on my radio show. And on the radio show, I asked Sam the Bam, who's a sweetheart of a guy, really great guy. I said, who is the nastiest guy that you could run into as a running back that you didn't want to tackle you because he was such a... He goes, oh, Jack Lambert. It took him a half a second to answer that.
Right.
I said, why? And I knew Jack Lambert had a bad reputation. Sam says, because he'd tackle you, and in the pile, he would bite you. He said he bit my leg.
Ooh.
This guy, Jack Lambert, man, he was crazy. I mean, there's linebackers, there's nutty people, Dick Butkus, people, Lawrence Taylor, all these guys were animals, and we knew it, and that's why we liked them. That's why we like watching them. But to get somebody to bite, just bite them? I mean, are you kidding me? Did you ever bite anybody when you were tackling?
Not a biter. Not a biter. Isn't that like a Marv Albert thing? Yeah.
A backbiter,
The
yeah.
backbiter? No, that's not.
Yes, yes. I unhooked her bra with my teeth. Oh, I'm wearing it. Anyway, that was I don't know why I went in there, but the linebacker position. I'm thinking lateral movement is key.
Sure.
Being able to see over the guys and weed out the guys you don't want to touch and look for the man with the ball.
Sure.
Is it that simple, or is it more than that?
No, it's more than that. You know what? It's kind of crazy because I did youth football. I coached King Philip out here in Rentham. KP, I coached the KP kids 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and you kind of like, you know, I was a big guy, but I was actually thin as a kid. I played safety in college my first year, and then kind of grew into the whole linebacker thing. But I don't think I ever really thought about how it was easy for me because I eventually got bigger and I could run well and all that stuff. And when you're teaching it to young kids, you kind of forget how important like your hands are, right? Like you don't just like, you know, run in with your shoulder because then the big people grab you, right? So that's kind of the lesson you get into when you get to the NFL. Mike Vrabel, we just had the Mike Vrabel thing here. He was inducted a few weeks ago into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and like the linebackers who are really good with their using their hands, like basically just don't touch me. Like he has long arms. No one ever gets near his core because he just bats people away. Those are the ones who are so much better. It's, you know, not necessarily the ankle biter stuff and all that, but just the guys.
But that's an intimidation factor.
Yeah, of course. But it wasn't. Was that Dan Campbell? He's been talking about the biting. That's more of an Achilles biting or something. But
let me see if I can snap this one off.
Exactly.
It's like snapping off a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah, I got the Achilles. He's not going to be back for the second half.
But no, it's hands, and you kind of quickly learn that, you know, yes, you wear shoulder pads. Guys now, I don't know if when folks watch at home, they're wearing tissue paper on their shoulders. I mean, the guys are not wearing like the big bulky pads anymore. Like the whole shtick is wear as little as you possibly can. Don't ram in with your shoulders. Use your hands.
Stay mobile and deflect.
Yeah, it's almost like avoiding contact, which is a little different, which I probably wasn't as good at.
So so what you're saying, if I read you right here, is that today's linebackers are pussies.
That was not where I was going, but
I know.
I don't hesitate off the notion that it's an entirely different style of play. Let's put it this way: if you put together those Patriot teams that you love of the early 2000s, and did it in today's style, if you could sort of have that roster and put it forward now, Willie McGinnis, Mike Vrabel, they'd be defensive ends. There's hand to be on the ground. They wouldn't be standing up playing linebacker. Right. Rodney Harrison would probably be the middle linebacker. You know, and Lawyer Malloy would be a will. You know, those guys wouldn't be safeties. Like Tabucky Jones is as big as anyone's linebacker right now. Like,
sure,
Tabucky was a 6'2", 6'3"
from
guy
New Britain, Connecticut.
Hitting New Britain. Yeah, exactly.
Hitting New Britain.
Exactly.
You've been there.
Yeah.
Then.
My bottler for the Rubs is in Terryville, Connecticut.
Terryville, which is near Bristol.
I always drive right by old Hard Hitting. Yeah, exactly.
Hard Hitting New Britain. I worked at a radio station in New Britain, and you'd say from somebody, somebody call up and you go, hi, where are you calling from? They'd say New Britain, and you'd say, well, I believe you now that I've heard you say that. they don't talk like normal people. Alex Smith was had a session. I think it was a couple days yesterday.
Yeah.
Where he's with Teddy Bruschi, Randy Moss, and Rex Ryan.
Yep.
And he said, I would like to get your comments on this.
Of course.
He said, and he was talking about Brady. So, I love Brady, the GOAT. But he says, but he played in the most uncompetitive division in NFL history. Now, the question is the horse before the cart. Did it look like an uncompetitive division because the Patriots were winning 2 games against all of the other people in their division every single year, and going 6-1, 7-1, whatever. How many would they play? They'd play 8, right? Wouldn't they? 6. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, did it work that way or did it work the other way? How can he say that about Tom Brady?
So the beauty of like today's world, and I'm not an NFL research guy anymore, and it's kind of great to be on Twitter because there's so many of those people out there that as soon as somebody starts talking shit, they go look it up, right? So it's kind of the beauty of today's world, right? So the answer to those questions, it's not anyone's opinion. You're honestly in this situation, you don't get to have one. It either did or didn't happen, and usually the best test of strength of division is other wild card teams, right? So like if you're just winning it and the rest of them all stink, then your division's probably not bringing the wild card through, right? So our AFC East had a far greater number of wild card participants than the divisions that Alex played in at the time. So immediately the Twitter followers jump in and say, what the hell are you talking about? Right. The second thing is just the notion that our teams were somehow built up by bad division play. We had, and well, even more so beyond just our groups, but Tom throughout it, had the best record all time of non-division games. So the people that we were beating the shit out of weren't just our division. It'd be one thing if, like, man,
beating everybody.
We're pretty bad, we're pretty average with everyone else, but we just blow through those damn division games and get lucky in playoff runs. Like, that's not what happened. So you can hold that opinion into sort of your bitter older age, but somebody's going to look it up.
Yeah.
And the thing that sucks, the other part that sucks about Twitter is all the people that are sort of, like seal clapping to Alex Smith saying it and not realizing how fucking stupid it was what he said.
Right, and all the people that are echoing what the radio station say about Belichick.
Yeah.
I mean, shut the fuck up.
Actually just look it up, and there are actual facts out there, yeah.
The other problem with Alex Smith is that commercial, and I have to look at his fucking leg every time I'm trying to watch a football game.
Maybe we should rub some gold bark on there and maybe it'll make it look better.
It looks like a kid made out of Play-Doh.
It certainly would taste better.
Yeah, Beefcake is actually a body wash as well.
Remove scars.
Now, taint rub for that man in your life with the leather perineum. Soften that shit up. Oh, that's fun stuff. All right, so just a random note here. It's a birthday coming up for, I think it's tomorrow. Bo Jackson, 61.
Wow.
Good Lord.
Can you imagine Bo Jackson, 61? Is he the greatest athlete that you can think of off the top of your head to play? Two sports.
I think most people hold it that way. Just basically, you know what was so cool? Dion's right there too, because just if you've done the professional football thing, like, it is exhausting, man. Like, I was in my 10th NFL training camp and got cut and was pretty much done at that point. My wife and I have been having conversations for 2 years about, fuck this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's long and it's hard and it's like 10 years feels like 20, that whole thing.
Which training time is hottest time of the year.
Oh,
It just beats you down.
You just get beat to hell. They used to have wedges in. My job was to hit them and then to be in it. So I was taking, like, car crashes like crazy. I bring that up relative to Bo. Think of playing a full NFL season as a running back, where you're the one that's getting hit, and then saying, "Sign me up for 162 baseball games or whatever." Like, what?
Right.
Like, it's not even just that was he the best at both, but to be able to do those two
things he could do are weird.
Good Lord!
Now, obviously, when he got hurt, it was like a big loss for
the hip thing.
But he still continued to play baseball. I saw him make a catch in Kansas City, where he's playing, where the ball goes out to center field, and most guys, they crash the wall, they try to catch the ball, they land on a heap sometimes, or they make the catch, and he went up the wall,
just cleats in the wall,
like took 5 steps and ran up the wall, and then came back down, and like he does it all the time, and it was so amazing. I said, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But then he was unbelievable in football too, and then he would get pissed, he'd have a strikeout, he'd take the bat, break it over his head.
I always remember the throw. I mean, I'm not a baseball guy, so this obviously would be more of a conversation for the Nesson folks, but like that time where he took one way deep in that left field corner and just turned and fired to home plate, insanity.
The throw,
yeah. Just, I mean,
gunned out Harold Reynolds.
Yeah, it's like a Russ Francis thing. Like, Russ was great at football, but then have anyone? Don Brosher, old trainer here, used to say that Russ, because he was an Olympic level javelin guy, could sit on his, could stand on his knees and throw a football almost the length of the field, which didn't even make sense, but the guy just had these weird sort of superhuman tricks. And
loved him.
Bo was a little bit
so
like that,
sad when he died in that plane crash.
Recently,
He was, I'm telling you, the show he was on with me at NECA was the first time I won an Emmy because he was such a great guest. He did crazy things. He'd go 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle and hit a stone wall and just get up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my bike's all screwed up. But I loved Russ Francis, and he was the prelude to Gronk in that he could he had great hands and could run the patterns and get open, all that stuff. And back then they didn't use tight ends the way they use them later on in life. But he was that kind of talent. But he could also block anybody. Yeah. He's 6'6", he was a big dude, and I loved watching him play. Didn't like when he left, and he came back briefly at the end of his career. But sad to lose Russ Francis at the age of 70, very, very recently. Let me ask you. This is a random question. It has nothing to do with sports. Has nothing to do with all the amazing products that you can get on, what is it? RubSmokeLove.com, baby. Do you think they've started the Christmas music too early on the radio stations? I'm pissed off about this.
Still? Yeah. This was a topic last week, too.
I know, I'm pissed, though.
Yeah, you're still mad about that? I'm more mad of it.
Every fucking song is Christmas. I mean, wait till December anyway.
So my world now is we're in Aubuchons where you can find this stuff. So I often end up in hardware stores, right? And so we're not in Lowe's yet. That needs to happen soon. Same with Home Depot. But It burns me a little when I walk in there. What is it, October, and I'm in there to get whatever, and it's all the displays, and they meet you at the front door. It's not like you can avoid it and say, "Oh, back right corner, they're already doing Christmas lights." No, it's like the first thing you see.
Right.
Not a fan.
It drives me crazy because I bop around a lot. I'm driving around a lot, picking up hot chicks in my lift car.
Of course.
I pick them up and I say, "So, baby, where you going?" And she says, "I'm going to the senior center again." And the blue-haired bats can't take their eyes off.
Well, it's that marquee that attracts them.
The Grand Marquis. I'm telling you, they get all, excited. As excited as you can get when you're 86. But anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Christmas music. So I bump on the buttons, and I'm like, this again. Santa Claus is coming to town. Shut the fuck up until December. And I love Christmas, okay? And with all Christmas week, play it all the time. That's fine. But November 17th is when I've started hearing it. Driving me crazy.
I've got an 11-year-old daughter who loves to sort of she's a bit of a radio terrorist in the car. Like, she likes to really kind of take things over.
Control the radio?
Yeah, so she'll guilt you
Button
into
pusher?
She'll guilt you into
Those fifth graders.
I'm putting the belt on, I'm backing out and all this stuff, and she's already asking me, like, can we get out of here before she's asking me to turn on her station? They love to do the Spotify, right? So they put in, I've got the 11 songs I'm going to play here.
Yeah.
She has like her save station
Playlist.
Exactly. So, but she's 11 years old and already making demands. Or no, we have to listen to Cake, her Cake channel. I think it's that, whatever the hell that song is. But
Yeah.
I'm like, sweetheart, come on. Can I listen to news?
She'll
or
grow
can I
out
just
of it, And she's 13. She'll have a whole new playlist.
Oh, of course.
There's no doubt about it. We're talking to Matt Chatham here. Now, how's it feel to have a Massachusetts town named after you? I know Wakefield went through it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know what the thing? it's
And Bob Shirley.
It's a gorgeous place.
Yeah.
It's great that thank God Chatham's not a shithole.
Right, no,
Chatham's,
it's great.
Chatham's like one of the best towns in Mass. I love it.
is.
It's a great place to watch a baseball game in the summer. Get the kids out there and go to the field. And one of the other things that does sort of since I've been out here. It's been amazing how often people have to ask me how to spell my name. And this, I was like, Matt, is it Chatham? Is it I'm like, dude, it's a town in your state. Come on. If my last name was Springfield, would you be like,
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, where are you from? Where are you from, Waltham?
Chatham. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it drives me bananas.
I know. It's
So your last name's Foxborough?
and
Foxborough?
then there's the people up in the northern part of the state.
You mean up in Haverhill?
Well, right. That's one of the
Haverhill.
classics.
Well, what
They-
about
they-
the people in Concord? That fucking
Nat-
kills me.
Natick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, it's
That one doesn't bother me as much because it is weird looking.
No, it's Natick.
The Worcester thing. I mean, my parents were just here from Iowa. They're coming to visit. They're never going to figure that one out. So
No, well, that's
it's the Worcestershire as
Worcester.
far as they're concerned. Yeah.
you have to almost have a speech impediment to say it right. Where you from? Wiki. Worcester. I tell people, if you say Worcester or Worcester or Worcester, and we know you're not from here. It's 2 syllables. Worcester.
Worcester.
It's so quick and easy. I have a quiz.
A quiz?
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask a question before you get to your
No.
quiz? You threw out random questions. I've been dying to know.
Go ahead.
Because I've been speculating on it forever. You were on the 2001 team. Do you believe the narrative that regardless of Drew getting hurt, that Brady was going to get his shot at starting?
My observation at the time was that it was building. That doesn't mean it would have happened. Maybe it was a December thing. I guess usually that stuff with the second guy happens based on how the season's going. I think we're seeing that right now, right? If stuff goes south, they're going to start looking at other people, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that would have happened with Drew necessarily, but Tom was putting pressure on him. Let's put it that way. And, we had a rough start to the season, and, of course, that's not all Drew's fault, but when the offense isn't clicking, the other guy is just at his heels, and he's looking like, man, we might have found something. I think the air quote narrative part of it is more of a guess and a projection by people that it was, like Bill was actually going to do it in the San Diego game one way or the other. That's not true, right? So, but the notion that if things had stayed as they were for another month, I have no doubt that the change would have been made. And that's just not, that's definitely not a knock on Drew. It's kind of the culture of that team. Like, name a guy that if he'd have continued to, had struggles. Not that he personally was struggling, but I'm just saying it was a place where like a bad week. Okay, so let's try someone else. Like that's just how that team was, right?
Yeah,
like there
that's
were
where they were at.
Yeah, I mean the Bruce Armstrongs and like in the year prior, and like Henry Thomas and like Chris Slade and like huge figures in this place that came and left, right? So it's not. It was a place where. Cool story about your contract, cool story about your massive name. And trust me, I was as googly-eyed about a player in the NFL when I first got there as Drew. I mean, Drew was Drew, Drew Bledsoe,
number
right?
one.
Yeah, huge 6'6" guy, massive arm, and a really good player. It's not like he was like stinking up the
No,
joint,
no.
but it was just, it was just a weird culture where it was like, we're going to all hardly watch film here, and, anyone can lose a job
all the
at any
good stuff
moment.
was all Ben Coates, wasn't it, back then? By the way, I asked this question of people when they come in from football or baseball teams. I always ask this question. I asked this of Sam Gash on my TV show with him and Ted Johnson. I said, and this was, of course, not acceptable TV fare.
Was this
at the
Gash
time.
and Johnson?
Gash and Johnson.
Gash and
Yeah, that's right. I told him. I said, welcome back to Gash and Johnson, everybody. And we're going to have Dr. Ruth coming out here in a second. But
So gross.
I know. I asked Sam Gash, I said, on the air, because it was live. I said, Sam, in your team meetings, who farts the most? So he goes, he didn't even delay. He said, Ben Coates.
Wow. Okay.
I said, seriously? He goes, oh, no one will sit with him.
wow.
I thought that was great.
Sit with
so
him,
the only
yeah.
Brady story I have, really, I've had a few conversations with him. But the first one I had was after the first Super Bowl win of his, and we're down at Smithfield, Rhode Island, and we're waiting for the cameras to gather, and they've got microphones, and we're waiting. And Tom's just standing there waiting, and there's people coming up, walking up. I said, so Tom, how was your summer? He leans over, he goes, well, I got invited to a lot more proms this year. How great is I'm thinking, yeah, probably you got invited to every single prom. All right, Matt Chatham, don't tell me, it's rubsmokelove.com, baby,
go.
for these fine products like beefcake, seasoning, brine.
Gold Bark, Life of Brine.
Life of brine. I love that.
Nuts. And Gold
Now we're
Bark.
gonna do
I'm
a-
shilling here, baby.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're going to do this is a 10-question football quiz. I'm gonna see. You think he can get 6 out of 10? He's a fucking former NFL guy.
Not a big standardized test guy.
We'll see how you do. All right. Who has the record for the most passing yards in a game?
Like Pats or just anyone anytime?
It's an individual.
Oh, good Lord.
Which quarterback the most passing yards in a game? These are hard questions. I don't want to give him
Lord.
ducks.
Dante Culpepper? I mean, it's a ridiculous answer, but I don't know. I have no idea. Could be anyone.
It's
Sam.
his nickname the Dutchman. Norm
Van Brockman.
Wow.
He gets 1 point, which is
I'm his assistant.
in our cast
I'm his
system.
kazoo.
What that does is that gets him to we can let him leave the driveway.
Ben's the lifeline. Yeah.
All right, number 2. How many NFL players have rushed for 2,000 yards in a season? Oh, how many? I need a number here.
I'll go with 4.
It's double. 8 guys have run for 2,000. I
8
mean,
different
OJ was
guys, not
first,
8
right?
total.
OJ, Dickerson, Barry, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson,
Chris Johnson got a 2,000?
CJ2K.
Did he really? Did Corey Dillon have a 3 or a 2?
No.
He had didn't he have a crazy year?
It doesn't have the names of the guys
He had
here,
like
but
an 1,800
maybe
yard
18.
rushing
Okay.
it just has the number 8.
All right.
So, we
he
don't
had
give
like
a shit about Julio.
298 yard rushing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it was.
That'll help it too.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. Name all the teams Bill Parcells was head coach of.
Okay. Are we counting youth football?
No. All the
ask.
pro teams.
Okay, so he was the Jets, the Patriots, the Cowboys. That's it.
Oh,
Good
You
Lord.
forgot the first team he won Super Bowls with.
Oh, the Giants.
Yeah, that's 4. Wait. You Giants, Patriots, Jets, Dallas. You're right. Yeah. I thought there was one I left out.
well, and then he was with the Dolphins as like
Didn't he
their-
coach Norm Van?
yeah,
He
yeah.
coached Norm Van Brocklin to that great team. Question 4: How many states in America do not have an NFL team? This is going to be a random guess.
I did not believe there was going to be math. So 32 teams, 50 states, double up in Texas, double up in California, double up in double up in
triple
Ohio.
California.
He's working through this thing
California.
because he's a scientific guy.
Ah, my
Triple in
Lord.
Florida.
Double in Texas. I mean, maybe it's like, I this is back of napkin. We'll pull it down 16, 17 from 50, 30, 32.
27.
Ah, we're close.
And again, this is meaningless shit in the long haul.
That's a big problem to do in like a rapid fire.
Here's one. You played with Tom Brady. He's a friend of yours. How many seasons has Tom Brady led the NFL in passing touchdowns?
Ooh.
How many times has he led the season in passing touchdowns?
I don't think the number's as high as you would think. I bet it's like maybe 2 or 3.
It's 4. The number's not as high as you think, and I'm not as high as you think either.
The crazy one was when you look back on it, it was 03 was the first time he did it, I believe, with 28.
And there's a ton of years where he's the second or the third. Or he's kind of right there. Yeah.
All right. Question number 6. Which team has never had a Hall of Fame player? Which team has never had any Hall of Fame players play for them?
I believe it's the Cardinals.
Larry Wilson. He's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. Well, then I'm dead wrong.
Think newer.
All right. You want the answer?
Can I guess? Texans?
Nope.
Oh, that's actually
Jacksonville
that's actually a great
Jaguars.
guess.
Okay.
The Jags.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cardinals.
expansion.
I knew that.
By the way, don't you hate people that call them the Jaguars?
Jaguars. Oh, I had a Jag. I had a Jag. When I had a Jag, like when you go to the dealership, they get you saying that. They get you saying it. The Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Oh, Jaguar.
They make it like a 7-syllable word.
Bunch of douches.
With 6 letters.
When they
It's
say
a Porsche.
When they say the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like grabbing them by the throat and saying it's Jaguars.
Jaguars. Jaguar.
How long until they're in London?
Ooh. Is there a right answer to that one? Is that
anyone-
one of the questions?
No, but it's
Right?
I'd say 10 years
Yeah.
they're in London.
Inside 10. There you go.
Question 7. Name 2 left-handed quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl.
Lefties that have won the Super Bowl.
Aren't these little quizzes fun?
Cade McNown. I know that's not true. Lefties that have won the Super
Jared
Bowl.
Lorenzen, the hefty lefty?
Elway was right-handed, but I think he threw left-handed.
No.
No, he threw righty.
No, but I mean he could. So.
Oh, yeah. He could pretty much. He's
See,
one of those guys.
I've opened up the answer.
The thing is, he paid that orthodontist, too, which is real weird.
I think 94 49ers.
Lefty. Oh,
Lefties.
Steve Young. Yeah.
Steve Young.
He's the only. Who else?
trying to think of who the
Is it
other
a Van something?
It's Ken. It's
snake.
Ken Stabler. You
Oh,
guys,
okay.
what's
Ken,
wrong
he's a
with
snake.
you guys? What are
Yeah.
you on crack? Damn it. All right, here we go. Here's number 8. Which franchise infamously ran out of time during the 07 draft at pick 7? They ran out of time.
Is it the Jets?
No.
This is a safe bet.
Vikings?
Yep.
Oh, look at you.
He's good, huh?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I'm a trivia ringer.
You know, despite the Dane Bramage, he's
a-
pretty good.
I'm more of a spices and herbs guy.
You know what? Peaches and herbs are mine.
I'm a useless knowledge guy.
All right, number 9? Who was the last player to win MVP that did not play quarterback or running back?
MVP that did not play.
That's a tough question, but it's a
Good
good
Lord.
one.
I would have said that's never happened, but that's the wrong answer, clearly. Is it like a Charles Woodson
Since
kind
they
of thing
want
or
the
something?
last
No.
one that did,
Yeah, I have no idea.
it must have happened. No, I know who.
It wasn't Ray Lewis, was it?
LT.
No, it was Lawrence Taylor.
LT
Yeah.
won
86.
an MVP.
You know,
wow.
'cause seriously,
86.
I watched him for a long time. He made a few tackles.
Yeah.
He really did. And here's the final question from Matt Chatham. What U.S. state has produced the most NFL Hall of Famers? What state do most of the NFL Hall of Famers come from?
See, I figure like it's going to be like the chum is Florida or California or Texas, but it's probably something like Ohio, just because I'm going to go.
Pennsylvania's
with
a good dark horse.
Ooh,
How about Mississippi?
Really?
Yeah, Brett
No.
Favre. But he's from Mississippi, right?
that's the right answer.
That's the right answer, right? Look at this. Yeah, I'm going to give this to you, Matt, as a
That's-
souvenir of the podcast.
Well, your hometown, your original hometown of Pittsburgh,
Mississippi?
is the craziest one because you had
Pittsburgh, yeah.
You had all those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And
And
all came out of Pittsburgh.
And John Dennis was born in Pittsburgh, and so
And
was
he's bigger than all of them.
Andy Warhol. Did you know he had a war hole?
Warhol. That's a
His boyfriends knew. I mean, he had a war hole, and he used to paint it pink. Good God, that is disgusting. That is really,
get that man some beefcake.
well, I'll tell you what, Matt Chatham, interesting guy. He's done a lot of things. He's built houses from scratch from his own plans. I mean, that he designed. He's gone to was it Babson?
Yeah, Babson.
Babson. And it cost him like $150,000
A week.
and the NFL didn't reimburse him.
Damn it.
He's got his own line of don't tell me. It's rubsmokelove.com. This is where you can get all these fine products. And I swear to God, my wife's going to be on your website ordering shit tonight when I get home because this is unbelievable. And he's also, of course, a three-time, dare I mention, a three-time Super Bowl champion, Matt Chatham. Now, Matt, I don't know if you've ever listened to this podcast. If you have, you probably won't listen again. No. But we close out every show with Castiglioke.
Okay.
And that means we get Joe and Jerry in here, and they do now. I don't know if you know this, but I got busted at a car wash for weed on the date 4/20/1994 in Vernon, Connecticut. And I'm living through that shame, but
still wearing it now.
So we have Joe and Jerry doing car wash. Thanks for coming in, too, buddy.
My pleasure, pal.
Oh, you might not ever get rich. But let me tell you, it's better than digging a ditch. There ain't no telling who you might meet. A movie star, or maybe even an Indian chief. At the car wash, Joe. Working at the car wash, yeah. Come on and sing it with me. Car wash, bitch. Sing it with all the feeling. Car wash at Shaw's. Ooh, come summer, the work gets kind of hard. Like my member. This ain't no place to be if you planned on being a star, Joe. Let me tell you, it's always cool. And the boss don't mind sometimes if you act the fool. At the car wash. Whoa. At the car wash, yeah. Come on, sing it for me. Car wash. Ooh, a car wash, yeah. Car wash, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me get my hose out. Those cars seem to keep coming, true. Keep those rags and machines humming, Joe. My fingers to the bone. We all can't wait till it's time to go home. Fill up, you don't have to pay. That's what she said last night. Come on, give us a play. Get a car wash right away. Don't get busted, though. Tuck that weed under the seat, Joe. Come on, y'all. Sing it with me. Car wash. Sing it with feeling, y'all. Car wash, yeah. Whoa. I'm getting tired, Joe.
It's a workout.
Don't forget to rub it down.